Her lips which whisper like reeds on the wind, wet with moisture sprung from a well deep within, whispers like the petals of an iris, the reedy blossom which weathers and is not trodden down for long. Yeah, fate's intertwining. It comes down to the word of someone in Albuquerque, which can affect the entire world in both a positive and a negative manner. And, and where, the words of, my muse are not taken lightly, and it's just, it's like I said, it's a hard road to travel, especially when one feels alone. And, that was part of the reason why I put these words down, this poetry and stuff like that, like I said, things you can't talk about, but will definitely have to be revisited at a later date, because nobody's ever alone. There's, it's like I said, there's, well, I just wanted to know that, but, there's, back to line 917. Fate, it's like I said, fate does intertwine. That's about all I can say. And things happen for a reason. The stories unfold and whispers are told, inescapable, sensual caress. But to ignore the bringer of yore, no chance, and with no room to guess. Within mountain wold, Ramadilla, I'm told, had regents renowned and redundant. But one ancient queen, fair Lindia, had been, last of such lineage abundant, of sweetness and virtue, no will for to hurt, reedy and fair like an iris. When tread upon frowned, not long to be down, arose fast on the quick, but spry blitheness. A wing from the ashes when notions were dashed, with the hope of a richness so thick. A light with an ire twould span stoutest mire, what feast prepared long and or quick. What plots for to smash, what fiends for to dash, abominations, what minds were to hatch, what woes for the day to be held at bay with a wit few of deviousness could match. Her men were quite tall, in virtue not small, compassionate fierceness the standard. Fight hard and love harder, and thought be much smarter than thine enemy and all of their kindred. The queen was pursued by various suitors, all of a worthiness and stature, who dazzled with niceties and pandered refinery for conquest, then she would not matter. Her will for to break comes easier with age, resisted she did, all but one. Tailored for her, rest be assured, was Tomney's one ill-begot son. In a man's form did he but have the queen, with charms that she could not resist. Impaled by his mire, overcome with desire, his handsomeness would not desist. Climax awax, his dwemer now taxed, his apparentness but slowly gave way. Climax away, what beast with I lay, what spell was I under that day? She wondered with horror of the creature before her, it's somewhere in between dragon and man. What demon with horns and scales to adorn, to me had but cometh to damn. What madness to follow, I in ecstasy did wallow, for hell hath but caught me unawares. Were children to bear, what demons were there, for me I but fraught with despair. Cry I did not, my destiny now wrought, no magic would serve to deliver me from this foul fate, my nerves which did grate, as I blossomed in unholy shivers. 5 demons I bore, an unwilling whore, my role infectious vengeance now finished. The madness I witnessed has yet to diminished, with time the hue forged into lividness. Anger and pain, my pleasure to drain, my reign for to end in disdain, into a prison which imprisons my skin, my trials for never to wane, presiding with malice o'er vain crystalline palace, ever sharding through time standing still. What vile creatures promised, delivered with cost, what screams unheard, ever so shrill. 4 I implored to see nevermore, the 5th in appearance was human. What foul purpose wanted, Ishmeth now wrought, in I and my children of doom. What storm in the night preceded the light, what wind whips did gust in the vale, what anger was sated as the rainstorm abated, to be followed by pockets of hail. Was ever a warning, it came nigh this morning, as wind ripped with a vengeance disturbing. What caution forgot as the meaning was lost, abaft it was in the chaos and turbulence. What wasteland awaited, as nightmares abated, all wondered with day's garnered sustenance. What peddler of gloom, foreshadowing doom, receding with wind's failing gustiness. Dew's fairy glow, faint yet to forego, iridescent splay, ribbons of light. What rapturous sheen, like honey to glean, to glimmer and glisten so bright. The archers were fine to be left behind, to trouble the burdenous steeds, alert for alarm and abstinence of harm, but boredom for sure-footed breeds. A flurry of grass and embolic pass, sweet blossoms of donkey's delight. A swell of green situated between walls billowy, what archaic plight. When lava aglow the earth here did know, a tiller of wide molten channel, worn from time's ancients, what tongues yet awaited to shelter the voluptuous meadow. What skeletal frame of volcano now tame, what plunder, earth once above, now below. Caspensia's cave, the secret we crave, what plunder within would we know. The base of the fountain we call Jackal Mountain, poured forth like dry porridge of fire. What vaults lie below in halls long ago were covered in volcanic mire. The entrance was plain like lost wax domain, burnt out by wind, rain, and time. Investments to show, haps not to be known, scattered like dust of the mind. A hole for large rabbits through composting granite, which crumbled, resembling sandstone. The color of rust, fine was the dust, like the lice of a blade-needing hone. Grotesque transformations, what wind-whipped formations, curves sensual, yet twisted in agony. Worse than the bunk any artist might sculpt, with awe and affinity for pageantry. Rongerous caryatids, what omen to bid, was trophy or glyph but implied. Ill at unease with device yet unseen, with caution we ventured inside. Our torches abright with nebulous light, the cavern within became apparent. Roundish in shape, with chasm agape, spanned once by a passage uninhibited. What holes were to say, beneath where they lay, our feet with our path somewhat limited. But speak, for they could, the holes filled with wood, an enchantment thus with we were gifted. What trick of the mind, but posts on this side, what vision of kind unbehest, a post for to grope with lariat of rope, no kindness returned for to guess, what defensive measure thus lacking in leisure, a crevasse to be spanned but one way, were posts to resume their place I'd construe, conjured forth, not left for decay. From cave to the rear, what purpose so clear, to limit thy enemy in transit? What steps do we share, concerns unaware? Was this Caspensia, or the work of but bandits? Claudia's glissade, what plunge for to dodge, as she slid down the craggy cliff face. To a ledge not quite narrow, indeed with great peril, where vaulted she, exuding fell grace. Vicinity of flaunt, an effluent jaunt, atop opposite face she then scrambled. In crumbling stone that 3 spikes alone would secure the rope, thus she had gambled. Hand over hand they traversed the span, one by one, foot over foot. But could the rope take Armando's great weight, armor and shield of plate for to boot? Barely it held, no fall to befell the paladin, ere short on luck. The chasm now crossed with lives not yet lost, rope taut, no chafe for the pluck, for to pluck. Yeah, like strings on a bass, chafe. Yeah, you got it. 2 passages be across chasm to see, one opposite, one off to the right. What passage ignored on hindsight of gorge, in the shadows it shied from the light. Sly on the right, quite narrow and slight, the direct path seemed far more inviting. Straight down it had led, beneath the lava bed, to a shaft, damp, cold, and biting. A difference in nature of color and texture, in the caverns the magma capped over. An eerie descent, the path led direct, to a realm made of stone far, far older. Near round in place, it opened to space. The shaft had no bottom apparent. Dropped from the summit, the torchlight did plummet, revealing webs the dark took for transparent. Back now they went, prepared not as of yet, the shaft to traverse by what means? Back up to the chasm and wayward phantasm, across the rope, that which spanned depthless seam. And I'll stop there and pick it up later. Hope everybody has a good night and everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. If you're listening out there, thank you, and it's appreciated. Have a beautiful night.